We often discuss Stoicism on our channel. Today, I'd like to propose a different type of video, featuring 6 Stoic exercises you can start practicing immediately after watching this video. These practices are simple steps you can incorporate into your daily routine right now, and they have the potential to transform your life. When we focus our attention on what we can control, our actions become more directed and efficient. Stoicism teaches us to develop a clear vision that allows us to make the best choices possible. Stoicism trains us for life, and as you learn to trust in your ability to face challenges, inaction and indecision cease to be obstacles. If you're new to the channel, help us bring this direction to more people in need. It's simple: like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts on the exercises or how Stoicism has changed your routine. Now, let's move on to the first exercise. First, reinterpret small disappointments. This exercise involves seeing our daily minor problems as mosquito bites. A single bite may be just a mild annoyance, but imagine being targeted by dozens of them. The cumulative effect could significantly harm our health. Similarly, in our routine, we might not face large problems or catastrophes, but we deal with a series of small issues every day, which together can create a significant emotional burden, leading to feelings of anguish and dissatisfaction. Stoic philosophers encourage us to rethink these daily irritations, preventing them from accumulating and causing us to lose our zest for life. The idea is to adopt a new perspective on daily challenges, recognizing that, while valid, these feelings can be reassessed to avoid becoming an overwhelming burden. This viewpoint helps us understand that the obstacles we face are often much smaller compared to humanity's significant challenges. People lived without the conveniences and facilities we have today for a long time. For instance, a 5-minute subway delay or a ride-share driver canceling our trip when we're running late for a job interview or important appointment is bad and frustrating. But, if we look back a short while, such simple journeys took hours or even days, requiring much more time and effort. Similarly, a delay in receiving a message response might irritate us or cause anxiety, but there were times when communications took days or weeks to be received, and people adjusted their expectations accordingly, without dying from it. This means many things that irritate us now are, in fact, modern times luxuries. Therefore, the exercise here is not to deny our reactions or emotions to setbacks but to learn to view them in a different light. It's an invitation to manage small frustrations in a way that they don't overwhelm us. As Seneca said, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. He wanted us to understand that the difficult things we go through are part of a life full of experiences and learning. Accepting frustrations as normal parts of our day-to-day helps us see life more fully, realizing that both good and bad moments contribute to our growth. Seneca teaches us to view life as a vast painting, where each challenging moment is a color that helps paint a richer and more interesting story. He tells us not to focus solely on difficulties but understand that they are part of a larger path full of lessons and achievements. In this way, we not only get through challenges but grow with them, making our lives richer and more meaningful. Second, choose a virtue. Courage, temperance, justice, wisdom. These are the core values of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, the great emperor of Rome and Stoic philosopher, mentioned that if someone found something more valuable than these 4 virtues, it must indeed be extraordinary. Stoics believe that every challenge we face is an opportunity to practice these virtues. Our second exercise is about incorporating these Stoic values into our daily life by focusing on practicing one virtue per week. Start by selecting one virtue and intensely practicing it for a week. For example, in the week of courage, begin with simple actions that represent courage, like getting up earlier from bed to exercise or dedicating yourself to making a special breakfast for yourself. It doesn't need to be a feast, completely out of your reality. However, sometimes, the act of treating ourselves well, offering the best we have to ourselves, whether in a coffee, exercise, or self-care, is the greatest act of courage in our lives. Another deeper point that requires courage is resolving conflicts. Think about a situation with a friend, a family member, or a work colleague. Suppose the two of you had a misunderstanding because of a conversation, creating an uncomfortable atmosphere. Instead of letting resentment grow or avoiding the subject, you decide to invite that person for a peaceful conversation, explaining how you felt about the situation without pointing fingers or blaming anyone. You also ask to hear their side, showing you're open to understanding and fixing what went wrong. This step can not only help resolve the misunderstanding but also strengthen your relationship, making the friendship, work environment, or family bond even stronger. Every action in your daily life can reinforce your courage practice, and thus you refine. Join our Stoicist journey at Buy Me a Coffee. Support with a donation or as a member and have a voice in our community. Every coffee fuels our mission to share wisdom. Be our pillar, make a difference today. Yourself and move on to the next week, choosing another virtue. Like in the week of justice, for example, returning the extra change received at the market will demonstrate your honesty in small things. Also, acknowledging and giving credit to colleagues for their contributions in joint work projects. In wisdom, you can dedicate time to reading or learning something new that can enrich your life or career, starting your continuous learning practice. In the week of temperance, for example, you can start practicing conscious consumption, which is thinking well before buying anything, choosing to buy only what you really need or what you have planned to acquire, instead of making several impulse purchases, which can financially compromise you. For example, if you're in the mall and see a pair of sneakers you really like, instead of buying them on the spot, you pause for a moment to think if you really need another pair of sneakers or, more importantly, if this purchase fits into your monthly budget. This pause to think helps avoid impulse purchases that can mess up your finances and lead to having many unnecessary things at home. Practicing conscious consumption helps save money and live a simpler and more sustainable way. You can also work on temperance to manage your time better, starting to establish clear boundaries between work and rest, thus ensuring quality time for yourself to rest. Each week, you work progressively on your personal development, focusing on one of the 4 virtues and applying these essential values. The 4 Stoic virtues are like rules for living well: courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. Courage for Stoics goes far beyond physical bravery, it's having the strength to face problems. Temperance means knowing how to control oneself, not overdoing anything, whether in food, work, financial life, or fun. Justice is treating everyone fairly and correctly, being honest and kind to others. Finally, wisdom is prudence and intelligence applied in everyday life, helping us make sensible decisions. Together, these virtues guide us to face life's challenges in a virtuous and balanced way, promoting personal growth and the common good. Share in the comments which of the 4 Stoic virtues you choose to focus on this week and why. Your courage might inspire someone else to start as well. 3rd. Daily Review. Seneca advises us to find a quiet place and dedicate a few minutes to write about our day, what we did wrong, what we did right, and what we could have done differently. This technique, widely recognized and recommended by personal development and psychology professionals, is based on a simple yet powerful principle. It originated from the innovative ideas of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Society of Jesus in the 15th century, who proposed a practice known as the daily examen. This practice is not just a method, but an invitation to a daily journey of self-discovery and growth. By reflecting on our actions and emotions of the day, we have the unique opportunity to connect more deeply with ourselves. These 3 points serve as a daily examination, where we can better understand ourselves, identify triggers that cause anger, fear, anxiety, and notice where we are evolving in the development of our virtues and character. Let's examine these 3 points in detail. What we did wrong. Until you admit a problem exists, it's impossible to seek a solution for it. Therefore, the first step of this exercise is the admission of our mistakes. Sometimes we deny our errors because we fall into the trap of defining ourselves by our characteristics, without truly recognizing that our value does not lie in our profession, the car we own, or external things. Our value comes from our character, from who we truly are. Acting wrongly doesn't mean we are bad people, but that we have strayed from virtue for a moment, yet we can return to it. And when we admit a wrong action, we gain power over it because we can change it. We monitor ourselves to act correctly the next time that situation occurs. What we did right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Nobody is 100% wrong or 100% right. The Stoics believed that ignorance was the biggest cause of mistakes because many act wrongly without knowledge. Today, we have an abundance of knowledge, but knowing is not enough to act right. We need to develop the moral strength to practice what we know. Writing what you did right reaffirms positive behavior, and as you learn to trust in your capacity, you feel more confident to replicate these positive patterns. It's simple but causes a significant impact on your mindset. Develop confidence in yourself by basing your actions on virtue and kindness daily. What we could have done differently. Imagine someone asks you for information, and you respond aggressively. In a simple situation, you exercised rudeness gratuitously. Adopting this technique is a step toward a more fulfilling and conscious life, where each day is seen as a chance to learn, improve, and transform. Epictetus reminds us that we are not just responding in isolation, but each of our actions feeds a habit of ours. Thinking about what we can do differently is to think about our daily simple actions, which, without realizing, feed the habits and vices of our lives. For example, today I spent almost an hour reading random comments on the internet. Could I have used that leisure time in a less futile way? Could it have been different? If we do not dedicate ourselves to self-evaluation, we miss the opportunity to grow and realize how much we have already evolved in our journeys. This exercise is simple, and you can use your phone's notes app to do it. Start once a week, answering these 3 questions for yourself about how your week went, what you did wrong, what you did right, and what you could have done differently. 4th. Recognize your internal tools. Epictetus, a Stoic sage, teaches us that in the face of life's obstacles, we can find ways to grow and strengthen our character. If someone offends us, we can see in that insult an opportunity to develop patience. In the face of suffering, we have the chance to discover our resilience. And when facing temptations, we can exercise self-control and discipline. This exercise offers a valuable practice. Before facing any challenge, we should remember what our internal resources are. And if we find ourselves lacking a specific skill to deal with the situation, that is the ideal moment to develop it and improve. As we persist and practice, we gradually master the essential virtues to overcome any adversity, turning each obstacle into a valuable lesson for our personal development. When we encounter challenges or problems, we tend to focus solely on the problem, which can make us temporarily forget the skills we are building or similar situations we have already overcome. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, look within. The fountain of good lies there, and it can flow ceaselessly if you always dig into it. This inspiring quote from Marcus Aurelius, one of the most remembered emperors of Rome and a philosopher devoted to Stoicism, invites us to seek the good within ourselves. He teaches us that the true source of good is not found in the external world but within each of us. He motivates us to continuously delve into our inner selves, revealing that, with constant dedication to this exploration, we can find an inexhaustible flow of goodness. This suggests that the secret to a full and virtuous life lies in our ability to look within, in an ongoing process of personal discovery and transformation. By cultivating and valuing our internal reservoir of goodness, we pave the way for an enriched and authentic existence. Next time you face any difficulty, remember which internal tool you can exercise. When on a diet, train your self-control by refusing that extra portion, soda, or extra sweet treat. Train your self-discipline by pushing yourself harder, doing your best on days when you feel lazy or utterly unwilling to work. Or when teaching something to someone or passing on information at work, practice your generosity by teaching without belittling or diminishing anyone. In each situation, we have the opportunity to be better when we recognize our internal tools. 5th. Exercise your power to captain. Epictetus, one of the greatest teachers and Stoic philosophers, teaches us something invaluable. If we don't carefully choose what we put into our minds, someone else will choose for us. And let's be honest, those choices won't always have our best interests at heart. It's as if we're letting someone steer our boat without knowing where they intend to go. When we understand what's truly important to us, it becomes easier to take control of our lives. Our actions start to reflect our true priorities, and we live more authentically, aligned with our beliefs. On the flip side, if we don't make these choices, it's like opening the door for others to decide for us. And, unknowingly, we might end up living a life based on someone else's desires and expectations, not our own. Therefore, the lesson here is clear: to live a life that's truly ours, we need to be in control of our choices. It starts by defining what's most important to you and ensuring that every step you take is aligned with those priorities. Use the dynamic of want and can to define your priorities and steps to achieve them. For example, want defines your priority: I want to lose 5 pounds. Can defines your actions: I can eat a smaller portion at lunch. I can exercise twice a week. The same applies to other areas of your life. For example, I want a promotion at work. I can dedicate more to the project. I can improve my professional qualifications. I can enhance my network in case new opportunities arise. What you want defines your priorities. And what you can are the actions you can take. In this way, we become the true captains of our destiny. This could be the first step toward a life lived with more purpose, passion, and joy. We can only get our lives in order when we start to act. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, stop discussing what a good person should be and be one. Sixth, how to decide what really matters each day. For our last Stoic exercise, let's discuss a simple practice. Imagine if, at the end of each day, you made a list of everything you did and asked yourself, would I have done this if today were the last day of my life? This simple exercise has the power to completely transform the way you live. By asking ourselves this question, we start to scrutinize our daily commitments, identifying what truly holds value for us. This questioning process acts as a filter, helping to highlight what is genuinely relevant and encouraging the choice of activities and experiences that fulfill and satisfy us. Suddenly, those hours spent on meaningless tasks or procrastinating on social media may seem less attractive and worthwhile. In contrast, moments spent with friends, family, or dedicating time to self-care or that hobby you've always put off gain new importance. This is not just a thought exercise, it's an invitation to live a more authentic and meaningful life. By choosing daily as if it were your last, you begin to do more of what you love, what makes you feel alive, and connected to what truly matters. This exercise not only increases awareness of how we spend our time but also promotes reflection on our life decisions and priorities. The Stoics called this exercise memento mori, where each day, they gained awareness that life was not eternal and discovered the ideal way to live. The idea behind memento mori is to encourage us to live each moment with more meaning and purpose, aware that our time here is limited. This awareness helps us prioritize what is genuinely important, choosing to live in a way that reflects our deepest values instead of getting lost in trivialities or procrastination. By reminding ourselves of our mortality, we are inspired to make each day an authentic expression of our essence and to cherish every moment we have. Each of these exercises is a powerful Stoic practice, and as we plant each of them in our hearts and souls, we have the opportunity to reap the results. If you've made it this far, comment, gratitude. And, let us know in the comments which topics you're curious about from a Stoic viewpoint for us to bring in the next videos.